My name is Lindsey Smock, and the title of my speech is called Rebuilding and Sustaining Our Topsoil. What do you think of when you think of climate change? You might think of reducing air pollution, protecting our water sources, or eliminating the use of fossil fuels. But many people forget about one of the most important aspects of climate change that affects life as we know it, which is the soil beneath our feet. Every year, we lose over 1 million acres of farmland in the United States due to industrial cultivating practices and urban development. And the land that we're losing is the land that is ideally suited to grow our crops. The Soil Science Society of America states that half of the world's topsoil has been lost in the last 150 years, predicting soil degradation will reduce food production in the next 25 years by 12%, which will then lead to a 30% rise in our food prices. According to the Soil Health Institute, it takes an average of 500 years to naturally build one single inch of topsoil, and we are losing our topsoil at 17 times that rate. Although soil degradation can be caused by a multitude of natural factors, increasingly soil quality is being affected by human actions. Because I'm a horticulture major and an environmentalist, I feel like it's my responsibility to educate the people around me about our soil because it's something that's often overlooked and forgotten about, but it is extremely important to human life. To start off, we'll first talk about what soil degradation is, why it's happening, and what we as humans can do to sustain and rebuild our soils. The Food and Agriculture Organization, or the FAO, defines soil degradation as a decline in soil health because of the misuse or poor mismanagement of our soils. This can include deforestation, urban development, or the intensive cultivating practices used by the farming industry today. 1 teaspoon of our soil contains more microorganisms than there are humans on Earth, and these microorganisms provide the nutrients our crops need to grow. The quality of topsoil can be damaged by natural causes such as wind and water erosion, but the rate of erosion has increased dramatically over the last 200 years in the United States as a result of industrial agriculture. When we till a field for the next season's crops using large combines and other machinery, it destroys our topsoil, very similar to how habitat is lost when clearing a forest. When natural land, such as the forest, is converted into farmland, it removes the important nutrients that are held within that topsoil and prevents the replenishment and recycling of the organic matter within the soil. Those machines also cause compaction, which can cause issues with our topsoil as well. The Penn State Extension states that soil compaction increases soil density, reduces water porosity, and leads to the degradation of the soil's actual structure. Compaction is caused by those tillage techniques that are used in crop production, or like when we create buildings and roads, and even livestock grazing intensively over the land can lead us to have compacted soils. Tillage aerates the soil by breaking up its composition, but it also compacts the topsoil in the process, killing all of those microorganisms that we've talked about. That causes that same land to then have the need the following year to be fertilized to replace the nutrients that the soil has lost. Both soil compaction and soil erosion affect the crops that we grow and eat, the foundation we use to build cities and roads, and the materials that we use to make clothing and products. Now that we know what soil degradation is and how it's caused, it's important to know what humans can do to reverse soil degradation in the future. While some sustainable practices pertain to farmers and other fields of work that cause soil degradation, other practices can be used by communities and the public and people like me and you. The National History Museum, or the NHM, explains that farmers can practice crop rotation every year to help with soil degradation. Crop rotation allows plants to grow in a different area of soil every year, which allows the soil to replenish and recycle those nutrients that are usually lacking after growing one single crop in one specific area repeatedly over time. So, for example, when a corn harvest is finished, a farmer may plant beans because corn consumes a lot of nitrogen and beans actually return a lot of nitrogen back to the soil. Hydroponics is a form of soilless farming where seeds are grown in nutrient-rich water instead of soil. The NHM explains how hydroponic plants are grown indoors. They're able to control all aspects of its environment, including moisture, temperature, sunlight, and the amount of nutrients that the plant receives. Aquaponics goes right along with hydroponics. It's a little bit different. I have a little diagram here that I want to share with you. So NHM also believes that aquaponics can be a solution to small scale food production in the very near future. Aquaponics is a man-made system of fish and plants that create a natural cycle that mimics our natural environment. So here the fish eat and excrete ammonia into the water that they live in. This then is converted into nutrients by bacteria. This is then sent to the plants, which then absorb those nutrients. And by the plants absorbing these nutrients that are inside of the water, it uses a fraction of the water compared to soil farming and the amount of water that's needed to produce crops in that way in an industrial farm setting. The Iowa DNR also promotes the construction of rain gardens because they're environmentally friendly and they're very inexpensive to install. A rain garden is a depression made in the landscape that allows water runoff from roofs, driveways, or yards to actually infiltrate back into the soil, which will reduce soil erosion, improve the water quality of our rivers and streams, and overall increase our soil health. Those are just a few of the many different practices that can be used to rebuild our topsoil layer and restore our soil health. So in conclusion, because of industrial agriculture and other human actions, our topsoil quality is deteriorating at a fast rate. Overtilling and other misuse of the soil is causing soil compaction and will eventually make our cropland unusable. The opportunities we have to increase soil quality are endless, and according to the United Nations, we need to do something on a larger scale to protect Earth's soil quality and sustain it for as long as possible. Thank you.